Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us for another lesson today on the fruit of the Spirit. We are not at the church today, as you can see. We are in my backyard because we are going to do a fun activity. My little helper here is going to show us an example that comes from our Bible story today. So we needed to be outside to do our lesson. But we're still talking about the fruit of the Spirit, and since I'm not at my handy dandy tree in the classroom, I brought one of our little shapes for this week for our fruit of the Spirit with me today. And this is just a ring of paper, and it represents faithfulness. That is the fruit of the Spirit we're learning about today. And it represents faithfulness because it just keeps going and going and going no matter what. It never stops. And that's kind of like faithfulness. It never stops. It just keeps on going and going and going. So we're going to learn a Bible story today about two friends who were faithful to each other no matter what. Can you hold that?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so faithfulness is a fruit of the Spirit. Because of our friendship with God, we can be faithful. Otherwise, on our own, we're not too good at it. So since we're talking about friendship today, having a faithful friend is really good, right, bud?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Micah here is one of my best buds, so he is a faithful friend, so I brought him with me to help me out. So we are going to show you our special handshake that we like to do as faithful friends. Put that down. Can you grab with this hand? Grab with that hand. And that is our special handshake. So if you're watching with a friend at home, maybe a brother or sister or mom or dad, I want you to make up a special handshake right now. Ready? Go. What do you think, Elena?
I don't know.
I'm sure all your special handshakes are super cool, and I can't wait for you to show them to me when we get to come back to our classroom together. So, my friend Micah brought along a special piece of equipment that he likes to use in our backyard, and it is his bow and arrow. So can you show the friends your bow and arrow? And I had Micah bring this today because our story has to do with bows and arrows. The friends in our story use the bow and arrow as part of a secret code that they use to give each other a message. And so that's why I wanted Micah to show you his bow and arrow. And at the end of the story, he's going to show you how he shoots it. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. So our story, you can sit down, bud, thanks. You can hold this for me. Our story is about two friends. Can you stand up? Can you hold this?
What? You told me to sit down.
Oh, I told you to. Can you hold this for me? Our story is about two friends named David and Jonathan. See, here they are, David and Jonathan. We wrote their name on a piece of paper.
David and Jonathan.
There they are. So they are as connected as this two halves of paper. You can't take them apart, can you, bud?
Nope. They must have ripped it.
Yep. But it was an unlikely friendship because Jonathan was the son of the king, okay? Jonathan, so he's Prince Jonathan. And David had been anointed to be the next king, even though he was just a shepherd. So if you don't know anything about kings and queens, usually the way it goes is that the son of the king becomes the next king. But Jonathan knew that God had chosen David to be the next king, and he was okay with that. So he was willing to give up that position because he was a faithful friend to David. And he got the chance to show David his faithfulness because unfortunately, Jonathan's dad, King Saul, was not a fan of David. He wanted to kill David. And Jonathan was kind of confused by this. He didn't understand why his dad would want to kill David. So they set up this code, which is what has to do with our bow and arrow. And I'm going to read you a Bible verse that describes what their plan was. David said, "Look, tomorrow is the new moon festival, and I'm supposed to eat with the king." So he's supposed to be at the festival, but I'm going to hide in the field until the third evening. if your father notices that I'm gone, tell him David begged me to let him go to Bethlehem every year. His family offers a sacrifice. Just hold it open. And if your father says fine, then we'll know I'm safe. And if he becomes angry, you'll know he wants to hurt me. So the festival came, and they tested out the plan. David hid in the field, and Jonathan talked to his dad. And if you think his dad was fine with David not being there, give me a thumbs up. And if you think his dad got angry, give me a thumbs down. What do you think? You think he got angry? You're right, he did get angry. He got angry that David wasn't there. He actually took his spear and threw it right in the middle of dinner. Can you imagine if that happened at your dinner table? Somebody got up and threw a spear? That's pretty crazy. So then Jonathan knew David really is in trouble. And so this is where our bows and arrows come in. So then, once Jonathan found out that David was in trouble, this was the next part of their plan. On the third day, I will shoot 3 arrows to the side of the rock, as if I'm shooting at a target. Then I will send a boy, and I will tell him to go find the arrows. If I say, look, they are on this side of you, bring them here, then you know you're safe. And if I say, look, the arrows are beyond you, then you must run away because it's not safe. So this was their code. If the arrows are over here, then we know it's safe and David can come out. And if I say the arrows are over there, then we know it's not safe. So that was their code. So once Jonathan figured out that his dad hated David, they had to put their plan into action. Let me get back to my place here. So now it was time to use the code. And Jonathan went to the field where David was hiding, and he used the secret code. So remember, Saul got angry, so Jonathan needs to use the code that says go far away. Do you remember what that code was that says go far away?
Yes.
If the arrows are way over there, then that means you have to run away, right?
We're gonna do that thing we did.
Okay, I'll take the paper. So Micah is going to show you now. We're going to act out using this part of the story. Micah's going to shoot his bow and arrow, and then I'll tell you what Jonathan said to David. Turn it around. There you go.
Sounds like a storm is coming. I'm fine. Sounds like it's far away.
Phew! Good shot. So
I'll
when,
go get it.
all right, so you have to go, it's way out there, it's way out there. You got to run and get it. When David heard those words, he knew that it was not safe for him to come home. And he knew that he had to say goodbye to his friend Jonathan. And I'm sure I can imagine how sad they were. So David came out of hiding to say goodbye to Jonathan, and they knew they weren't just saying goodbye for a little bit, they knew they were saying goodbye forever. Can you hold these for me, bud?
Just sit. Stay there, bow and arrow.
So the time came for them to say goodbye forever. And David went away, and he never saw Jonathan again. And it was very, very sad. It was very sad. But even so, they stayed faithful to each other as friends, even though they didn't see each other anymore. Now, I don't know about you, Micah, but right now I can relate to this story because I don't get to see my friends. Have you got to see your friends?
Nope. Ever.
No, we're not getting to see our friends much right now, and it's kind of sad and it's kind of hard, but there are still ways you can be a faithful friend. Can you think of any ways you could be a good friend right now? I think you could be a good friend by drawing a picture for your friend and sending it to them, or maybe making a video for them and singing a song and sending it to them. Or we could call them or text them. There's lots of ways we can keep in touch. Unfortunately for Jonathan and David, they couldn't really do that. They couldn't even send letters because Saul wanted to know where David was and he still wanted to kill him. Being apart from the people we love is hard. Sometimes it feels like something's missing. So I want you to do something with me now. If you don't have any shoes on, go get some shoes real quick. Pause the video and go get your shoes on, okay? And then I want you to come back, and then I want you to put one shoe on and take one shoe off. So we're gonna take one shoe off. I wanna walk around a little bit. How does that feel to have one shoe on and one shoe off? How does that feel?
Yucky.
Feels kind of weird, doesn't it? Feels like something's missing.
Yeah.
Kind of strange. Shoes are supposed to be in pairs, aren't they? I wonder if that's how Jonathan and David felt when they had to say goodbye to each other. You think?
No,
Like something was missing?
Sophie.
Hi. Being apart from the people we love can feel like something is missing sometimes. Just like when we had one shoe on and one shoe off and it felt kind of funny on our feet. But remember, our fruit of the Spirit today is faithfulness. It goes on and on. So even if you can't be with your friend and it feels like something is missing, you can still stay faithful to your friend. And you can still be a good friend. In a minute. We gotta do that one other thing, remember? There are other ways in life that you can be faithful besides just with your friends, even though that was the focus of our story today. You can also show faithfulness, like what if mom asks you to do a job? Should you quit or should you
Do it.
keep at it? What if it's a hard job?
Still do it.
You still do it because you're being faithful, right? What about if you're trying to learn a new sport or an instrument?
Still be faithful.
Sometimes you just got to put in a lot of practice when you're learning a new skill. That's being faithful. You keep at it and you keep at it and you don't quit. Or like we talked about today, you can be a faithful friend.
If you have a bow and arrow, go shoot it.
If you have a bow and arrow, you can go and shoot it. So we have one more thing to show you today about friendship, just a little object lesson that reminds us about being faithful friends. So Micah, I need you to stack your fists like we practiced. So you can do this one at home too, okay? Have somebody in your house stack their fists just how Micah's are, one on top of each other. And Micah's gonna push his fists together and try to keep me from pulling them apart, okay? And this is gonna remind us of David and Jonathan's friendship. It's really hard. I can't get them apart. They're stuck together. Okay, let's try that one more time. Put your hands out so I can, there you go. All right, ready? Whoa! So which way was more like Jonathan and David's friendship? The first way or the second way?
This one.
The first way, right? We couldn't separate them. Want to try mine? Go ahead, try. I want you guys to try this at home, okay?
All right, now again.
Somebody make their fist stack.
Ah!
Oh, see? You can always do it the second time. But the first way reminds us of Jonathan and David's friendship. So try that at home and see how it works for you guys. First, you're trying to pull them apart this way, and then you're trying to pull them apart this way. This way, when you're trying to pull them vertically, is almost impossible to do because of their strength. Thank you. Can I have those? Oh, thank you. So try that at home and talk about which way is more like, more like Jonathan and David's friendship. Remember, our fruit of the Spirit today is faithfulness. Can I have that, please?
Yes.
Why, thank you, sir. Faithfulness, because it goes on and on and on. Special thanks to my helper, Micah. Thank you for showing us your skills. Shooting your bow and arrow. Would you like to shoot it one more time?
Sure.
All right. Micah's going to shoot his bow and arrow one more time, and then we'll sign off. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope you enjoyed our story about faithfulness, and I hope you got to do some of our fun activities at home with your shoes and with your fists and your secret handshake and all that good stuff. Once I get into our classroom, I
Ready?
will share a picture with you guys of all of our faithfulness rings on the tree.
You want me to?
All right, give it a go. Whee! Great job. All right, guys, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.